to Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles with me, Anna Rebecca Quinn. I'm just going to check out real quick. Much better. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you joining this broadcast. And if you wouldn't mind helping me out and hitting like, share, and subscribe to help the algorithm to see that this content has value and to share it with more folks. Hi Trisha, hi Diana, lovely to see you guys here on YouTube. And can you guys hear me okay? So let's do a little sound check. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? All right, I'm broadcasting now on Facebook and YouTube both. Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Greg. Wonderful. And hi, Irene. Hi, Dan. Thank you, thank you. Oh, so wonderful to be here with you guys today. Truly. Let's see. Wonderful. Okay, where we're going to be at today is we are going to be in the teacher's manual in question number 16. How should the teacher of God spend their day? Right. And I have titled this, How Should the Miracle Worker Spend Their Day? So to be a teacher and a demonstrator of love in the world, what's the best way to spend your day? How should a teacher of love, a demonstrator of love, spend their day so that we're not wasting it on nothing, right? We have a job to do here. We've got our work cut out for us as teachers of love here in the world. And we don't want to waste our time. You know, we have something that we were born here to do. And until we fulfill our function here as a teacher of love, a miracle worker, we won't rest until we find our function and fulfill it. That means that we need to not be wasting our time doing something that we didn't come here to do. We need to be doing what we came here to do so that we can experience the fulfillment that comes from fulfilling our holy, which means our loving function here as a teacher and a demonstrator of love. So let's learn how to spend our day in the best way possible for the fulfilling of our function. All right. So it's question number 16. So it's teacher's manual. Question number 16, how should the teachers of God, a teacher of God, spend their day? All right, here we go. Teacher's manual, question number 16, how should we, the teachers of love, spend our day? Tell me how to spend my day so I'm not wasting my time. Well, to the advanced teacher of God, or to the advanced demonstrator of love, this question is meaningless. There is no program because the lessons in the curriculum change each day. Okay? So for the advanced teacher of love, demonstrator of love, it's whatever love tells you to do each day, right? For the advanced teacher of love. For the teacher who never forgets their function as a miracle worker, a teacher of love, okay, that may not be us at this time, but for the advanced demonstrator of love, whatever love tells you to do every day is what the lesson is every day, right? So, and then the advanced teacher of love, they are sure of only one thing. They are sure of only one thing, and that only one thing is that the lessons do not change at random. So when you have accepted your mission to be a teacher and a demonstrator of love in the world, then your lessons will change each day. It will be whatever love tells you what to do that day, right? And the one thing you can be sure of as an advanced teacher of love in the world is that your lessons do not change at random. Now, thank you. All right. When you see that the lessons do not change at random, and you understand that this is true, then the advanced teacher of love rests content. So at some point, we will become an advanced teacher of love. Maybe some days you are, maybe some days you're not. But when you become an advanced teacher of love, you understand that the lessons change each day according to what love wants you to do that day. But you know that your lessons do not change at random, and because you know that the lessons don't change at random, the love will tell you what to do every day, you will rest content. In other words, the advanced teacher of love in the world knows that they will be told all that their role should be this day and every day. And the advanced teachers of love also know something else. They also know that whoever it is that is sharing their healing role with them that day will find them that day, so that they and those folks can learn the lessons for the day together. This is what the advanced teacher of love knows. They know that the lessons change every day, but they don't change at random, so they rest content. They know that they're going to be told what their role, all that their role should be this day and every day. And they also know that whoever is supposed to share that role, that teaching healing role with them that day, those folks will find them so that they can learn those lessons together. This is what the advanced teachers of love know, okay, about what the lessons for the day are. Okay? And the advanced teachers of love know that no one is absent that day whom they need. The advanced teachers of love know that no person is sent into their experience that day without a learning goal already set, and not only that, but a learning goal which can be met that very day. This is what, oh, thank you, Diana. This is what the advanced teachers of love know about the lessons that are being sent to them and given to them each day by love, the lessons that are not at random at all. And they know that everyone they need to learn the lesson love wants them to learn and teach that day, those folks will be sent to you. Okay? The advanced teacher of love knows that not one person will be absent that you need to help you learn the lesson that you are being guided to learn and teach by love each day, every day. Okay? And that's why when you become an advanced teacher of love, you rest content. You know that you're going to be told what you're supposed to do every day by love. You know love's going to guide you very specifically to do exactly what love has for you to do. And you will know that everybody who comes into your experience that day is someone that was sent to help you learn and help you teach the lessons that love wants you to learn by teaching. All right, this is what the advanced teachers of love. So this is what we will be experiencing. Maybe not now, maybe we're not an advanced teacher of love, right? But this is what is to come. This is our future as teachers of love, as miracle workers, as teachers of God. Now, for the advanced teachers of love, then, this question, how should I spend my day, is superfluous. It doesn't matter, right? The advanced teacher of love isn't like, how should I spend my day today? The advanced teacher of love knows that they are going to be told all that their role will be that day. They know that whoever they need to learn and teach that lesson will be sent to them. And they know that that everyone that they need will be sent. All right. So for the advanced teacher of love, this question, how should I spend my day, is superfluous, because this question, how should I spend my day, has been asked and it has been answered. And so the teacher of love keeps in constant contact with the answer. The advanced teacher of love, they are set, which means they see the road on which they walk stretch surely and smoothly before them. All right. So this is what the advanced teachers of love know. This is what they do. This is what they trust in each day. And this is what enables the teachers, the advanced teachers of love, to rest content each day, right? They know they're going to be guided each and every day. They know everybody who they need to learn their lessons will be sent to them, and they know that. So, beautiful. Now, I love it. It says, but what about those who have not reached the certainty of the advanced teachers of God? What about them, which is most of us, right? So we just heard what the day is like. The teachers of love know about what their role is each day. But what about those who have not reached that level of certainty that they will be told each day what their role is? What if you are a teacher of love and you haven't attained the certainty that you'll be told each day what your role is, and whoever you need to accomplish that lesson will be sent to you, right? What if you haven't achieved that certainty? What if you're not an advanced teacher of love right now? Right? What is an advanced teacher of love? That's the ones who have certainty that they are being guided by love every day, all day long, and they trust in that. And how do you know when you trust that love is guiding you every single day? How do you know when you have certainty that everyone that you need to learn your lesson with is going to be sent to you that day? How do you know you have certainty in your role as a teacher of love? You rest content. You rest content, which means you rest in trust that you're going to be guided, that love is guiding you, love is using you. There's not a question about that, right? But what about those who have not reached this certainty? Well, these folks are not yet ready for such lack of structuring on their part relative to fulfilling their function as a teacher of love each day. So, most of us don't have that level of certainty about being used and being guided and trusting love to tell us what love wants us to do. And so, most of us need more structure on our part relative to how to spend our day. Okay. And that's most of us, I'm sure. Superfluous. Wonderful word. I love that word. Okay. So for the advanced teachers of love, the question, how should I spend my day, is superfluous. You know, you'll need to ask, what should I do today? How should I spend my day? To the advanced teacher of love, that question is superfluous because they know they're going to be guided, and they know that everybody whom they need to learn that lesson, that love's guiding them, they are going to be sent, and they trust in that and they have certainty. But for those who don't have certainty that they are being guided and used by love, and that love is structuring their day, he says those folks, they need a bit more structure so that they can fulfill their function each day as an effective teacher and demonstrator of love. Okay, they need more structuring so that they can fulfill their function each day as teacher of love, as demonstrator of love. Okay, now, so the teachers of love who have not attained this level of certainty, they haven't become an advanced teacher of love. What must these folks do to learn to give the day to God? Okay, so you can hear here what the goal is for us as teachers of God, right? The goal here is to learn to give the day to God. To learn to give the day to God. All right. So that's what we are learning to do each day. It sounds so simple and so easy, but we have to learn to give the day to God, right? Why is it that we would need to learn to give the day to God? It seems so easy, so simple. Well, because we are not in the habit of doing that. Instead of giving the day to God, starting the day by giving the day to God, what are we doing? We're planning our own day, right? We are deciding for ourselves what we should do. Absolutely. And so, but us deciding how we are going to be using our day, that prevents us from being used by God, by love, for the healing and awakening of mankind. So, what enables us to fulfill our function as teachers of love, as demonstrators of love, of healers for the world, to do that, we have to learn how to give the day to God. God, I give this day to you. I want you to tell me what my role is. I want you to tell me what to do, where to go, what to say, and to whom. Right? So, really, that's as teachers of love, that is what we are learning how to do. Right now, when we become an advanced teacher of God, we don't need to ask love each day. We don't have to remember to give the day to God each day. We've already done that, and we don't take it back each day, right? So, so for most of us, we need to learn how to give the day to God, and we need a bit of structure in that lesson. We need some structure in our day that helps us to learn how to give the day to God. And so there are some general rules which do apply in terms of how to spend your day. Although each one of these general rules about how to spend the day, although each person must use these general rules as best they can in their own way. And it's not about routines here, because routines as such are dangerous. And routines can become dangerous because routines easily become gods in their own right, which means routines easily threaten the very goals for which the routines were set up. So there are some general rules that create a sense of structure for most of us teachers of love, that enable us to give the day to God so that we can truly be used by love, used by God in our function of bringing healing to the world. All right, so we're going to hear about the general rules, the general structure for our day that will enable us to give the day to God. Okay, so you ready for the general rules of how a teacher of love can spend their day? Should spend their day. Okay. All right. So there are some general rules which do apply as to how to spend our day, although each person must use these general rules as best they can in their own way. And that's because routines as such are dangerous, because routines easily become gods in their own right. So, the first general rule for how we as teachers of love should spend our day is this. Broadly speaking, it can be said that it is well to start the day right. And it's always possible to begin the day again, should the day begin with error. Okay, that's good to know. Yet there are obvious advantages in terms of saving time if the need for this can be avoided. Okay, so the first general rule for how a teacher of love should spend their day is to begin the day right. So, first general rule, start your day right. Now, why is it, yes, and you can begin again. Now, why is it that the first general rule for how you should spend your day is to start your day right? According to this, because if you start your day right, then you save time. You save yourself time. What kind of time do you save? You save yourself time in terms of getting, being about love's business, right? So if I can start the day right, giving the day to God, then I'm more going to be on focus, on point during the day, remembering what my function is and actually accomplishing it, right? To accomplish your function, you got to remember what your function is. You got to set that goal each day. What's the best way to accomplish something? Set the goal. And so you save yourself time in terms of fulfilling your function and using your day for what it was intended for by love, by remembering your goal at the start of the day. At the start of the day, remembering to give your day to God. All right. Um, then Tricia says, I asked God, Spirit, what shall I do today? Who am I going to talk to today? What am I going to see? And what shall I say? I am yours. My body is yours. Beautiful. That's what I do too. I have learned from this curriculum that I've learned how to start my day by giving my day to God, where I say, God, I give this day to you. The only thing that I would have be accomplished by this day, love, is the will I share with you, the healing of humanity. And then I give my body to God. I just go through my body. I give you my eyes, my ears, my brain, my mouth, my teeth, my lungs, my heart. And I just go through all my organs and muscles and bones and down to every cell in my body. So I've learned from this section how to start my day right, which saves time so that I'm not forgetting what I want to accomplish, what I want the day for. You start your day right in giving your day to God by remembering what you want. Right? When you set your goal at the beginning of your day, I want my day to be a day in which I allow love to use me and guide me in the ways that love wants to use me and guide me for love's purposes. Right? So you begin your day right by starting your day, giving the day to God. Okay, all right. Beautiful. Like Tricia says, I want God's will for my day. God, the only thing I would have be accomplished by this day today is your will, the accomplishment of your will, which I share with you, which is for the healing of all of humanity through me and with me. Okay, so broadly speaking, then, it can be said that it is well to start the day right. And good news, it's always possible to begin again should the day begin with error, yet there are obvious advantages in terms of saving time if the need for this can be avoided. Okay, so at the beginning of the day, it is wise to think in terms of time. I would like to save time. I would like to use time efficiently. I would like to get to my function sooner than later. I am thinking about my day in terms of time, right? How can I save time today? How can I not waste time today doing something that is not what I'm here to do? How can I make it such that I'm not wasting time doing what love doesn't have planned for me, right? That's wasting time. Wasting time is doing something other than fulfilling my holy function as being a messenger and a demonstrator of love for whomever I encounter that day. Okay. So it says then that thinking in terms of time is by no means the ultimate criterion, but at the outset, thinking of how can I save time is probably the simplest to observe. Why? Because the saving of time is an essential early emphasis of this course, which, although it remains important throughout the learning process, the concept of saving time becomes less and less emphasized. So, at the outset, we can safely say that time devoted to starting your day right does indeed save time, which means it enables you to not waste time doing what love is not guiding you to do, right? So in this case, wasting time is making deciding by myself what I should be doing, where I should be going, what I should be saying, and to whom. Okay, that's wasting time. Okay, because that's time not spent fulfilling my role as a teacher and a demonstrator of love. To fulfill my role as a teacher of love, I have to allow myself to be guided by love as to what I should do, where I should go, what I should say, and to whom, right? So my function, fulfilling my function, my holy role as a teacher of love, 100% comes from me allowing myself to be guided. But in order to allow myself to be guided, I have to ask. I have to give the day to God. I have to ask God. I ask for your guidance. I only want your guidance. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? The asking of that question, the giving of my day to God, that is what enables me to save time. And we got to think in terms of saving time at the beginning. Okay. We won't have to do that all throughout, but right now, when we're so distracted and we're so self-willful, I still want my plans. I still want my goals. I still want my scripts for the day. Now I have to apply a bit more structure to my day in order to accomplish my goal, because my mind is still undisciplined. I'm still distractible by the things that I think I want, which means the things that my ego wants. Okay. And so the way that the beginning of the daily structure that enables me to fulfill my function starts with, I start the day by giving the day to God and asking God, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say to whom? Okay. So that's the structure so far, is we start our day right. Okay. Beautiful. Now, then it says, well, how much time should be so spent in the morning practicing giving our day to God? Well, how much time should you spend in the morning giving your day to God? Well, this must depend on you, yourself. You cannot claim that title of teacher of God until you have gone through the workbook, since we are working within the framework of this course. But after completion of the more or less structured practice periods which the workbook contains, then individual needs become the chief consideration. Why? Because this course in miracles is always practical. Now, it may be that you, the teacher of love, are not in a situation which fosters quiet thought as you awake. Okay. If you've got young kids or a young dog or who knows. But it may be that you are not in a situation which fosters quiet thought as you awake, right? For me, I gotta have my coffee first. So that's how I know I may not be an advanced teacher of God yet. I gotta get up, I gotta go make my coffee, and then I'm ready for my quiet thought. But that's fine because if you, as a teacher of love, are not in a situation which fosters quiet thought as you awake, then let yourself, but remember that you choose to spend time with God as soon as possible, and then let yourself do so. Okay, so this is this is the structure that we need as teachers of love that enable us to fulfill our function. As soon as we are able to, then we do what? We choose to spend time with God as soon as is possible for ourselves. It's okay if your situation doesn't foster quiet thought as you awake. That's fine. Just decide that you will spend time with God as soon as you can. Okay. There's there's your structure. Okay. It doesn't have to be a routine that is rigid. Just decide that as soon as I can, as soon as it's possible for me, I will do what? I will choose to spend some time with God. Okay. Now, duration is not the major concern here. You know why? Duration, Mary says, same way with coffee. Dinah says, I like that thing about how people will be sent. Yes, less for me to figure out. Yes, I love that. That's right. When you become an advanced teacher of love, you're not concerned about what you're going to do today. You trust that you will be told all that love wants you to do today. You're trusting that love and the universe is going to send you whomever you need to learn and teach the lessons that love would have you learn and teach. Okay, so you can relax, right? But until that point, we set some structures on our day that enable us to learn to give the day to God, which also, he just said, where we're learning to spend some time with God. Isn't that interesting that we have to structure our day to make it more possible that we remember God, that we remember to give the day to God, that we remember to spend some time to spend some time with God. But as you can see, that's the whole goal here as teachers of love. We're having to structure our day in such a way that we remember to think about God, that we remember to give the day to God and spend some time with God, right? Right. And why is it that we have to put some structure on our day to do that? Well, for one thing, the ego and the ego world is determined that we don't remember God. And of course, a miracle says that the original purpose of the world and the body was so that we would forget about God, so that we would forget about God and feel like we're alone and on our own and weak and abandoned and basically alone, separate and alone. So the whole purpose of the ego and the whole purpose of the ego world is to distract us so completely that we forget about God, right? How could God and God's unconditional love be real when everything I see in the world is showing me that no, that's not what's real. What's real is I'm alone and on my own and lacking, and I'm gonna die. So, um, beautiful. Uh, Tricia says, may I say, if I don't spend time with God every day, it's not a good pony ride. Yes, you may say that. Absolutely. Right. So the whole purpose of the ego and the ego world and the ego relationships is to make us forget God. so that we can feel alone and separate and afraid and guilty, okay? Believing the lie of lack and death. And so if that's the one purpose of the ego and the ego world, then you can see why the function of you as a teacher and healer of love is to make sure that you don't forget about God, that you remain in communication with God so that you can fulfill your purpose as a messenger of God, a teacher of God, so that you can remember God and remember that all that God has already given to all of us, that you can remember what the reality that God has established for us as guiltless and sinless and deathless forever, right? If you can't remember God, if you're not remembering God, then you're not remembering your true and ultimate purpose, and also your happiness. The Course in Miracles says to remember God is ultimately to remember your purpose and also to remember your true identity as a guiltless, sinless, deathless child of God who has everything, who lacks for nothing. So to remember God is to remember your true self as the innocent, guiltless child of God who has everything and does not die. So, so we suffer because we have forgotten God, we deny God, we suffer because we don't remember who we are because we've forgotten our source. So to know your source is to know your true identity, which is also to be truly happy, right? So in order to be truly happy and remember who we really are, which is happy, which is holy, which is eternal, guiltless, sinless forever, we got to remember God, right? And the whole purpose of the ego world is to forget God. So you can see how to fulfill our function as teachers of God, as demonstrators of the love of God, the first thing we have to do every day is to remember God. How do we do that? We spend some time with God and we give our day to God and we ask God, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? Okay? All right. As teachers of God, you get to remember God, but the whole world was set up so we don't remember God. So we got to allow our day to have some structure, some guidelines, some general rules that that help us to remember to do that each morning. And by starting our day off with that goal, that general rule, it enables us to not waste time doing things that is not what has been given us to do by love. All right. And I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important. And the Course in Miracles tells us that we will never rest until we find our function and fulfill it. So until we find our function then and fulfill it, we will never rest. We'll never feel complete. We'll never feel content. We'll always feel like something's lacking. We'll always be yearning for something that we don't have or we're not doing. We'll always be having that feeling of striving, which is a feeling of lack. And so, and our function is to be a teacher of love, a demonstrator of love. And so until we go, oh yeah, that's why I'm here, that's my function, that's my purpose. So only as we remember our purpose and fulfill it, only then will we be able to rest content and feel like, okay, I'm not needing something that I don't have. There's not something I need to become that I'm striving for. There's no lack. I feel content. I feel fulfilled. I'm doing what I came here to do. I'm being what I was created to be. I feel content. I'm not plagued by lack. I'm not plagued by a feeling of a failed mission or a feeling of I have a function to fulfill, but I'm not fulfilling it, right? We all know that feeling of purposelessness, of meaninglessness. Like my life doesn't, I don't feel the meaning of my life. I feel a bit purposeless. I feel directionless. It's an unhappy feeling. It's an unfulfilled feeling. And so we're being reminded here of what our function is here. What does give our life meaning and purpose, which enables us to not have that emptiness feeling that makes us feel like we always need to be striving, but we're not for sure what. It's a feeling of incompleteness and a feeling of purposelessness and meaninglessness, right? That's not true. It's not true that your life doesn't have a purpose or a meaning. It's not true that you've somehow fulfilled some sort of destiny or purpose. It's just that you have forgotten what it is, and so you're not fulfilling it and you're not feeling fulfilled. So, this is reminding us of what our holy purpose is, what gives meaning and purpose to our life, and it's teaching us how to stop wasting time doing something that is not what we were given to do and born to do as teachers and healers for humanity. All right. Yes, beautiful. Trisha says, when you start feeling purposelessness and you're on the course and miracles, that is a red flag that God needs you now because Saint Eagle's trying to flag your eyeball. Oh my God, girl. Okay, what she said. All right. So we're talking first about the small bit of structure that the course is giving us on how to spend our day is begin by starting the day right. Now, where you're going to start the day by spending some quiet time with God and learning how to give your day to God. Now, then it says how long you do that for, the duration of the time you spend with God is not the major concern. You know why? Because one can sit still an hour easily with closed eyes and accomplish nothing. One can easily sit still an hour with closed eyes and accomplish nothing. And you can just as easily give God only an instant, and in that instant join with God completely. So duration of how long you spend with God doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, you know. So because you can easily give God only an instant, and in that instant join with God completely. So how long you do it is not a major concern. Okay? Now, perhaps the one generalization that can be made is this: as soon as possible after waking, take your quiet time and then continue a minute or two after you begin to find it difficult. So here's the structure, the general rules by how to start your day, which means how to start your day right so that you can save time for yourself and be getting to whatever has been given you to do. So you start, what does it say? As soon as possible after waking, take your quiet time. Okay, we heard that. And then continue a minute or two after you begin to find that quiet time with God difficult. So there's your general rule, your bit of structure for how to start your day right in the morning. You take your quiet time to spend with God as soon as possible after waking, and then you continue a minute or two after you begin to find it difficult. Now, you may find the difficulty of taking your quiet time with God diminish and drop away. So, of course, you may find, of course, when you're spending some quiet time with God, of course, your ego is going to come in and be like, and, where the ego's like, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. I need to do something. What do I need to do? I need to distraction. Your ego will come in to distract you. to make it difficult to spend time with God. But if you will spend a minute or two after your ego starts distracting you and trying to pull you away because your ego is becoming uncomfortable, you may notice that the distractions and the difficulty may fall away and that you're just experiencing the ecstasy of spending time with God. Okay. Now, if you spend a minute or two spending that time with God, even after it becomes difficult because your ego is becoming uncomfortable and giving you distractions, if the difficulty does not diminish and you break through into the ecstasy of spending time with God, then that's when it's time to stop. Okay. It's like, after my ego is starting to distract me, my ego is becoming uncomfortable, and then it's time to stop. So if the ego doesn't let go after 1 to 2 minutes of you continuing to stay present, spending time with God, then it's time to stop. Okay, great. So we're not here like fighting the ego, right? The Course is not saying, fight with your ego and stay with it for 30 minutes exactly, right? It's not what it's saying. It's saying as soon as possible after waking, spend some quiet time with God. And then once your ego starts becoming uncomfortable and distracting you, give it 1 to 2 minutes more. And if the difficulty, distractions, resistance doesn't fall away, then stop. Real simple, real easy, no fighting with the ego. It's beautiful. Yeah, I have found that sometimes 30 minutes spending time with God isn't enough because it just feels so good. It just feels so good. And I'll be receiving so much beautiful messaging and downloads and guidance. I mean, incredible, beautiful guidance that 30 minutes goes like that and it's not even enough, right? But at the beginning of this daily practice, if you will, your ego will do whatever it can to distract you and make sure you don't develop this daily practice, and to make sure that you don't stay spending time with God until the ego's resistance falls away and you break out into, ecstasy. So, but at the beginning, the ego is going to do whatever it can. The ego will be relentless in distracting you, any way it can. With anything, it knows will work to distract you. Okay, so we've heard about the general rules for how to spend your day, and it begins with starting your day right, starting the day as soon as possible after waking by spending time with God, and then staying with it for a couple minutes after your ego's resistance comes in, and to see if the ego's resistance will fall away. If the ego's resistance doesn't fall away, it's time to stop. Okay. All right. Now that's the general rule for the morning time relative to how to spend your day right. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. All right. Yes, Trisha says, can that be a way my ego's acting out in a different person? Yes, indeed. Yeah. So sometimes it's not your ego that is distracting you because it feels threatened by you spending time with God. Sometimes your ego will act out in the form of, calls on the phone or somebody, a person, but the ego's going to try to do whatever it works. I mean, whatever it knows works to make sure that you don't start your day right and spend your time with God. The ego is going to do whatever it can to make sure that you don't do that, because you realizing that you have the ultimate source of guidance, loving, brilliant, genius guidance within you, that is ecstasy to experience. The ego knows that the jig is up. And so the ego's got to do everything in its power that you gave it, to make sure that you don't experience the brilliant genius guide that you have within you, that is the most loving, brilliant genius that you've ever experienced, and that it's ecstasy communicating with it. It's ecstasy spending time with God. Not only does it feel better than anything, the ultimate pleasure, but also it is the most practical. It is the most productive thing you can do. Truly, when you connect your mind with the ultimate, unlimited, loving mind of the universe, then, nothing's impossible to you. Nothing is impossible to you, and nothing need frighten you. And when you are allowing yourself to spend time with God and communicate with God and receive God's love and receive God's guidance and receive God's miracles, then what do you need the ego for? Right? You come to the awareness, you're like, I don't need that ego. It hasn't made me happy. It hasn't made me happy, healthy, and wealthy and wise. I don't need it. I have God within me. I have I have full time, all the time, 24/7 communication, contact with God. I don't need the ego, right? I have the ultimate guide that only guides me brilliantly, beautifully, safely, abundantly, no matter what time of day or night it is, no matter what the problem seems to be. What do I need the ego for? And so that's what, and the ego knows that. And so the ego feels profoundly threatened by you spending even a few minutes each day, spending time with God, giving your day to God, asking God where God would have you go and what would God would have you do and what God would have you say and to whom. That's the ego's ultimate threat. So you better believe that when you sit down to spend some quiet time with God, you better believe that your ego is going to throw a tantrum. But what it's saying here is that if you'll just stay with the process and stay with that intent for 1 to 2 minutes after the ego's resistance starts to come up, you may find that the ego resistance falls away, and then you get to experience the ecstasy and also the brilliant guidance that you have now allowed yourself to access just by the simple decision to spend some time with God. Okay. The ego is a taskmaster who never rests. The ego wants your attention every day, all day, no matter what, right? The ego doesn't want you to even spend a few minutes with God. That's how possessive. Let me see, before I forget. Okay, thank you. Hi, Carla. Lovely to see you, dear. Okay. Yes, so thanks for saying that, Tricia. Okay. Now, that was the structure to put on the day, the morning part of the structure that enables you to learn how to give your day to God. Okay? Now, then in paragraph 5, it says, now the same procedures for learning how to spend time with God should be followed at night. Okay, so here's the nighttime structure for us as teachers of God that enable us to not waste our time so that we can fulfill our function as teachers of love. So the same procedures should be followed at night. Perhaps your quiet time should be fairly early in the evening if it's not feasible for you to take it just before going to sleep. Okay. So just like the structure for how to spend our day in the morning entailed spending some time with God, so the evening structure of our day also involves some quiet time where we spend some time with God in quiet. Okay. Now, then it says, so it's ideal to do it just before going to sleep, but it's not wise to lay down for you're spending your quiet time for God just before going to sleep. It says it is better to sit up If you're going to spend your quiet time with God just before going to sleep, which is ideal, then just make sure you're not lying down for it. Make sure you're sitting up, because it's better to sit up in whatever position you prefer. Why? Well, having gone through the workbook, you must have come to some conclusions in this respect. Right? If you lie down to have your quiet time with God before going to sleep, we know what happens. You're going to fall right asleep. Why? Because the ego wants you to go to sleep. As we talked about, the ego doesn't want you to spend that quiet time with God just before going to sleep, right? And so the ego wants to torture you and give you things to worry about before going to sleep, so that you don't sleep well and so that you have nightmares. Yes, yes, beautiful. Yes, Carly. Carly says, love those holy instants where guidance flows. Me too. That's such ecstasy. It's such ecstasy, and it's so productive. I mean, I'm telling you, I always have to have a notebook next to me in the morning when I do my quiet time with God, because as I do that quiet time, it's like the instructions for the day just flow so easy, and the feeling of receiving that guidance, like Carla calls them, the holy instance, it feels ecstasy. The communication with God, communing with God, talking to God, listening to God, just spending time with God, it feels better than anything. It's the like the Course in Miracles says, the ultimate pleasure. So, and that's why the ego has such resistance to it. Okay. Now, so it says, so if possible, however, just before sleeping is a desirable time to devote to God. Why is that? Because it's a desirable time to devote to God just before going to sleep, because when you devote time to God just before going to sleep, it sets your mind into a pattern of rest, which means it orients you away from fear. I love that. And for folks who sometimes have trouble sleeping or they experience nightmares, this is a practice that sets your mind into a pattern of rest before you go to sleep. And what does it do? Because doing this nighttime practice orients your mind away from fear. I love that. So this is what it is telling us is the right way to spend our day in the evening time, okay, before going to sleep. Now, what it said earlier was, if you can't do it just before going to sleep, then perhaps it's wise to uh, do your quiet time, spending time with God, fairly early in the evening. So if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason to spend your quiet time with God just before going to sleep, then do it earlier in the evening. Okay. So, and make sure you're sitting up for it, right? Well, I love how it says now, if you've gone through the workbook, you know what happens when you lay down to do your workbook practice, right? You know what happens. You fall right asleep. It says, having gone through the workbook, you know that. So, so do it just before going to sleep, but sit up to do it. Spend your quiet time with God. And this is ideal because it sets your mind into a pattern of rest and orients you away from fear. Great, great. So that's the structure that for our evening time in how we as teachers of love should spend our day. Okay. Remember, the teachers of God who are not advanced yet, they don't have full certainty that they are being guided each day, every day, in where they should go and what they should do. We need a structure for how to spend our day to make sure that we are fulfilling our function and learning how to give our day to God, spend some time with God so that we can be led and guided and fulfilled and healed by God. If you're going to be a teacher of God, then, that means that you have to learn how to let yourself be guided and healed by God. I know it's like, oh, yeah, that's obvious. That makes sense. I want to be a demonstrator of God's love for all of humanity, but that means that I have to allow myself to be in that relationship, experience the answers and the productivity and the ecstasy of my relationship with God. Okay? And this is the best way to do it. You in the morning, you spend your quiet time with God, giving your day to God. In the evening, you also spend some quiet time with God just before going to sleep if you can. Okay. Now, if you, like I said earlier, if you experience sleep issues, this is a great practice to help decrease the sleep issues, whatever they may be. Now, if it is expedient to spend your evening time with God earlier, at least be sure that you don't forget a brief period, not more than a moment will do, in which you close your eyes and think of God. Okay? So I'm either spending time with God, or I'm thinking of God, or I'm giving my day to God, right? This is so the structure that we need on our day, on our time, so that we can fulfill our function as teachers of love, is a structure that we put on our day that enables us to remember, um, uh, to give ourselves a brief period where we think of God and give our time to God and give our sleep to God and give our day to God. And we just spend some time with God. Okay. Now, there's something else as that's part of this structure here of how to, the structure of that will enable us to fulfill our function as teachers of love. And it's this. It is, in paragraph 6, there is one thought in particular that should be remembered throughout the day. So we got the structure of the morning practice and the evening practice. Okay, great. There's another part of that daily structure where there's one thought in particular that should be repeated throughout the day. So that's another part of the structure of the day. And it is, what kind of thought is that should be repeated, remembered throughout the day? What is that thought? It is a thought of pure joy. It is a thought of peace. And it is a thought of limitless release. Why limitless? Because all things in this thought are freed within this thought. Wow. So the structure is, I got my morning practice, I got my evening practice where I'm remembering God, spending time with God, and then throughout the day there's a thought that I should be remembering throughout the entire day. And that thought is a thought of limitless release, is a thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, and a thought of limitless release. And it's a limitless release thought because everything is freed within this thought. Okay, great. Set. I love it. Carla says, my favorite times are those moments I get to just stop and remember and connect to God. Such a luscious time. I totally agree. I feel exactly the same way. And Carla, we're being reminded that's our function. We think that, that's a time when I'm not being productive. Oh, I don't have time for that. That's me being unproductive. When this is telling us, no, that's how you fulfill your function. That's how you fulfill your function, right? So, so the times that feel so luscious and sweet to us, those are times, that is literally what enables us to fulfill our function as teachers of God, which means demonstrators of love in the world. Okay. Now, Then it says, you think you made a place of safety for yourself. You think you made a power that can save you from all the fearful things you see in dreams, but it is not so, right? We think we know what keeps us safe. I think I know what keeps me safe. Well, I just have enough of this, and I just have some more of this, and if this happens, and if that happens, and if I get this to happen, and if I get them to change, I'll be safe. I'll be secure. If I could just get them to change, if I can just get the world to change, if I can just get things to go according to my script, I'll be safe. I'll be happy. And this says, in one sentence, it is not so. You think you've made a power that can save you from all the fearful things you see in the world. You think you've made a place of safety for yourself, but obviously that's not true. Because for all that you've done to make yourself feel safe and secure, you still don't feel safe and secure. So you don't know what makes you safe and secure. You haven't made something a place of safety for yourself, a power that can save you from all the fearful things you see in the world. It's not true. Okay. All the things we've made to make us feel safe and secure have not worked. So apparently, it's not those things that we thought would make us safe and secure that makes us actually safe and secure. It's a thought. It's a thought that actually makes us safe and secure. It's a thought. A thought of what? A thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, a thought of limitless release. It's the thought of God that truly makes us safe and secure. So we thought it was a set of conditions, a person, a place, a thing that makes us safe. But really, it's the thought of God or the thoughts of God. And what is it? What are the thoughts of God? It's a thought of pure joy, it's a thought of peace, and it's a thought of limitless release. That's what really makes us safe. So as you remember to think of God each day, as you remember to spend some quiet time with God, you are actually experiencing and saying yes to everything that does actually make you safe and secure. And we learn through this that all that we thought made us safe and secure doesn't. It's only remembering the thought of God, the thoughts of God, which is the thoughts of our true reality, that actually makes us safe. Wow. It says, you think you made a power that can save you from all the fearful things you see in the world, but it's not so. Your safety doesn't lie in all those things that you thought made you safe. Your safety doesn't lie in that place of safety that you think you made for yourself. Wow. So the only thing that you're giving up when you give up all the things and the places that you think make you safe and secure, the only thing you're really giving up and giving those up is the illusion of protecting your illusion, the illusion of safety and security. When you give up all the people, places, and things that you thought were going to make you safe, when you give those up or they're taken away, the only thing you're losing is your illusions of safety, your dreams of safety that never did actually make you feel safe and secure. And it says, so what you're giving up is merely the illusions of safety and security that you made up, that never really did work to make you feel safe and secure. How foolish to be so afraid of nothing. Oh, thank you. How foolish to be so afraid of nothing. Nothing at all! Exclamation point. Your defenses will not work. But guess what? You are not endangered. So the people, places, and things that you thought were going to make you safe and secure, they don't work. Obviously, I know it's just the most obvious thing. Obviously, they don't work. But it's okay, because even though your defenses don't work, you're still not in danger. Even though all that you do to make yourself safe and secure don't work, you're still not in danger. And you don't need those people, places, and things to keep you safe and secure. You don't need them. And if you recognize, oh, I don't need that person, place, or thing to truly be safe and secure, as soon as you recognize that, then all of those illusionary defenses, they will just disappear. And only when your illusionary defenses, only when the people, places, and things that you thought made you safe and secure that don't, only when they disappear because you've recognized they don't work, only then will you accept your real protection. I love that. Only then will you only then will you accept your real protection, that which really does make you safe and secure. I love that. I really, really want to accept for myself what really makes me safe and secure. It's obvious that everything I thought would make me secure, that people, places, and things thing, did not make me feel safe and secure, because here I am. I've had those people, places, and things, and I still didn't feel safe and secure. And so, but I really do want to feel safe and secure. I really do. I really want to feel that feeling of safety and security. And this is telling us the only way that you can, and that is to, when you realize that all that you thought made you safe and secure didn't work, because here you are still not feeling safe and secure. And when you recognize they didn't work, it's not depression that you're going to experience. It's not like, oh, I'm so disillusioned. All the things I thought would make me feel safe and secure, they didn't work to make me feel safe and secure. I'm so disillusioned. This is saying once you realize, oh, those people, places, and things don't make me feel safe, they don't make me safe, only then will you go, oh, it's the thought of God. Oh, it's my relationship with God. Oh, it's my remembrance of my relationship with God that does make me safe and secure. And then you will have accepted what does make you safe and secure for real. And then you will experience it finally, right? And it wasn't anything you thought. Anything, all the plans you've been making, all the defenses you've been doing to make yourself feel safe and secure. Oh, if I just get that job. Oh, if I just have some money. Oh, if I just have that relationship. Oh, if my body just looked like this. Oh, if I just had this. If I just had that. If they would change. If I would change, I would be safe and secure. None of that has worked to make you feel safe and secure, or it would have worked already. You wouldn't have to keep doing it, right? It didn't make you feel safe and secure. And what we're hearing is the only thing that makes you feel safe and secure is your remembering and experiencing your relationship with God, which you can only experience if you'll actually just make it a daily thing to spend some quiet time with God. And then throughout the day, think about a thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, and a thought of limitless release. In other words, a thought of God. That's what I love, that definition of a thought, thinking about God. Because when you're thinking about God, you are thinking a thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, and a thought of limitless release that releases everything, that frees everything in that thought. That's what it means to think about God. All right. Okay, so I don't know if we'll be able to finish this, but let's go one more paragraph and okay. Great. So now we are on paragraph 7. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you, Mary. Mary says, love your teachings. Diana says, there is a solution. I love it. And Diana says, Those things can still be in my life, but from the Holy Spirit interpretation, not from the idolatry of the ego. Exactly. It doesn't mean that those things that I once thought made me safe, will never have. It doesn't mean like, oh, now you won't have, the money, the shelter, the job, whatever. It just means that now you won't be using them for the ego. You will be allowing God to use those things, those people, places, and things for giving love into the world as a delivery device into the world. So now I'm not making those people, places, and things into idols that I think will make me feel happy, love, and safe. Then now those people, places, and things will be being used by God and God's brilliance for a demonstration of love in the world. Thank you, Diana. That's exactly right. Illusionary defenses. Yep. Yeah, I love it. Diana says that line always gets me randomly. I'm like, damn, this nonsense narrative in my head is nothing at all. Sure is. My defenses are nothing. They don't do anything. They do not make you safe. They do not make you happy. And the defenses that I am using, those are all the people, places, and things that I think will make me happy, make me feel safe, make me feel secure, make me feel special, make me feel loved, etc., etc. And so, but they, if they were gonna make us happy and fulfilled and safe and secure, they would have done so already. I know it's like saying the obvious, it's like saying the obvious, right? If they could have made us happy, they would have. If they could have, they would have. And here we're hearing what really does make us safe and secure and happy. And it's not a thing at all. It's a thought of God. It's the thought of God. It's being in communication with God. It's remembering God, our source, our primary relationship, our of course says you are in a holy relationship. All this stuff about, oh, I wish I had a holy relationship. You are in a holy relationship that you are just currently not remembering and you aren't utilizing it. This practice, this daily practice, this daily structure enables us to stay in the remembrance of the holy relationship that we are in with our Creator, that fulfills all of our needs. It fulfills all of our deepest desires for happiness and completion and wholeness. And it enables us to fulfill our function as a teacher and healer for humanity at this time, which is our joy, our greatest joy, right? So, this is a daily practice, a daily structure that enables us to fulfill our function and experience the complete fulfillment and safety and security and happiness that we all desire and we all deserve, because we were created to be that way. We were created to be happy. We were created as whole. We were created joyous. We were created in peace. That's our natural state. Okay? That we have to make it into our function, our job, so that we don't forget it, right? If we don't turn it into our job, our joyful job in the world, then we will forget it and we won't experience the fulfillment and the completion that is God's will for us and our will for us. Okay, beautiful. Let's see here. Okay, I'll just do a few sentences of paragraph 7 and then we'll close it out from there. Okay, beautiful. Bridget says, the golden key, indeed. And Bridget also says, so true, my safety is in the God within me. Amen to that. And Carla says, pretty ingenious of God. Indeed. God and the boys for God, they are the most loving and brilliant geniuses that live in you, that are in you. You don't need to make yourself smart. You don't need to pretend you're smart. You have the most brilliant, loving genius that there ever was in you, waiting to talk to you, waiting to guide you, just waiting. And because God and the voice for God are loving, they have to wait until we ask. They have to wait until we get quiet enough and actually ask. The ego doesn't wait for you to ask. The ego pushes itself on you. The ego doesn't care about what you want. But love, because it's loving, has to wait until you ask. Love, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say and to whom? Love, I want your thoughts. I'm going to think about you. Okay. Paragraph 7. How simply and how easily does time slip by for the teacher of love who has accepted their real protection. Nice. I love that. So if you would like to experience time as slipping easily by, then this is how you can experience that. When you have accepted your true protection, which is your relationship with God, your constant communication with God, your holy relationship with God, when you have accepted your true protection, which is your relationship with God, then time will slip by easily and simply. I love that. So if time feels like it's going too fast or it's going too slow, it's because you haven't accepted your true protection within your relationship with your source that is always there. Always there. You're never without that holy relationship within you. Never. Now, and it says, how simply and how easily does time slip by for the teacher of God who has accepted their protection. All that we did before in the name of safety no longer interests us because we're safe and we know it to be so. We know we have a guide who will not fail. And our guide that we have within us who will not fail, that guide doesn't need to make any distinctions among our problems, because this guide within us, to whom we turn with all of our problems, recognizes no order of difficulty in resolving any of our problems. And that's why we are as safe in the now as we were before any of those problems were accepted into our mind. And we are as safe as we will be when we have let those illusions, those lies and problems go. There is no difference in our state at different times and different places because all of our places and times are all one to God, and this is our safety, and we have need for no more than that. Okay? And so when you know where your true safety and security comes from, and it's something within you, in a guide within you that can never fail, because this guide within you knows that all your problems are the same and they're nothing to this guide that's within you, then you will, and your true safety and security is within this guide within you who cannot fail, then time slips by simply and easily. And all the things you used to do for safety and security, you just don't need them anymore, and you let them go. They have no more, they have no more interest to you. So, and you'll experience true safety, and you'll experience a safety and a security that has nothing to do with any person, place, or thing. You'll experience your safety and your protection that is always there with you, that doesn't come and go, that isn't vulnerable to any specific situations or anything like that. All right. And so there will be temptation along the way that you have yet to travel, which means you have need of reminding yourself throughout the day of your protection. Okay? And this is what this is. We have a need throughout the day of reminding of ourselves of our protection, our real safety and our protection. And this is the structure. This is the daily practice that enables us to remember throughout the day our real protection, our real safety and security. And that's what this section is giving us, that structure that helps us to remember throughout the day to give our time, our day to God, to remember to spend some time with God, to remember to think about God, to remember where our real safety and protection comes from. And it's a thought of God, which means it's a thought of pure joy. It's a thought of peace, and it's a thought of limitless release that makes us really safe. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for hanging in here and listening throughout. Thank you for being here and supporting this class. If you are able to like, share, and subscribe, or share this on your social media post, thank you for doing so. You know, what could the world need more than ideas like this? So thank you for helping to share these ideas, which makes them stronger for those who need them. All right, so I just want to do a couple of announcements, and then let's do an integration meditation where we'll just take some of these ideas and use them. All right, so the announcements are that Dr. Carla Adams and I are doing our quarterly Course in Miracles Saturday play shop, Saturday, the first Saturday in March, March 7th, and we're going to be talking about the real world, the how to access and experience the real world, the world where we feel safe all the time because we know who created us and we are experiencing in real time our relationship with this thought of limitless peace and pure joy and limitless release. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's in person. We're not doing it online yet. So if you are in the Denver area and you would like to join us at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center in person, it's Saturday, March 7th from 10 to 4. Lunch is provided, and we're going to do a deep dive into A Course in Miracles and the topic of how to experience the real world that the Course in Miracles says is here right now for us to experience. So if you are interested in that, you can go to my website and see a flyer for that, or you can reach out to me. We're having folks pay at the door, and it starts at 33, 44, 55, 66. It's sliding scale. You can pay what you feel comfortable doing. And so reach out to me if you're interested in that, and we'll have folks pay at the door, but we want you to let us know if you're coming so that we can, because we're preparing lunch and some stuff. So that's at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, 1939 South Monroe Street, Denver, 80210. All right. And then Greg and I do our Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles now every Wednesday. If we're both in town, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and we're doing it like we're doing here now, live streaming on my Facebook page and my YouTube page. So that's every Wednesday, 7 p.m. If you would like to learn how to better apply these Course in Miracles ideas to all of your relationships, that's a great place to come and where we are going to be applying the ideas to our relationship and showing you how we do it and have done it. And we will be helping you to do the same in terms of, you asking us questions. Well, what about this? Or what about that? So that's the purpose of that. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We won't be doing it this Wednesday, which is the 18th, because Greg will be in Las Vegas playing in a tournament so not this Wednesday. Thank you, Greg. But so next Wednesday, after February 18th, we'll be back doing our Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles. Okay, beautiful. All right, guys. So now let's just close our eyes and spend some time with God, shall we? All right. Okay, if you are able to, I want you to close your eyes and take a breath. And just notice how you feel right now. Having heard these ideas, how do you feel having heard these ideas from A Course in Miracles? And how do you feel having heard them with the mighty companions that have been online listening with you in this healing circle that we have co-created? Beautiful. So the first thing that I want us to do is to do the instructions where it says, there is one thought in particular that should be remembered throughout the day. And it is a thought of pure joy, a thought of peace, and a thought of limitless release. Limitless because all things are freed within it. So, now, but first I want you to think of the places of safety that you made for yourself. I want you to think of the power that you thought could save you from the fearful things you're seeing in your life. I want you to just think of those things that you thought were going to make you safe in your life right now that have not made you feel safe and secure. So what were the people, places, and things in your life recently that you thought would make you feel safe and secure, and they did not? What were those people, places, and things? I want you to bring those to your awareness. What is it that you thought would make you feel safe and secure recently that didn't? Okay, now I want you to recognize those people, places, and things did not make me feel safe and secure. They did not make me happy. I want you to recognize that, acknowledge that. And I want you to recognize that your plans, that your defenses of your safety and your happiness did not work. I want you to say to yourself, my plans, my defenses for what would make me feel safe and secure did not. But then I want you to say to yourself, but I am not in danger. I want you to say to yourself, just because my plans for safety and security did not work, I am still not in danger. And take a breath. And then I want you to tell yourself, but what does make me truly safe, what really does protect me, is a thought of God, spending time with God. And a thought of God is a thought of pure joy. A thought of God is a thought of peace. And a thought of God is a thought of limitless release. A thought of limitless release that frees everything within it. A thought of pure joy. A thought of peace. A thought of limitless release is a thought of God. And now let's just take about 60 seconds and let's just spend some time with God. Let's just think about God. And let's give our day or our evening to God for 60 seconds. And take a breath and think of God. And breathe. Beautiful. All right. Way to remember what your real protection is. Good job. Way to love yourself. Way to heal yourself. Your plans for safety and security have not worked, but you're still not in danger. You have within you all that makes you safe for real, all that protects you for real. I appreciate you all for being here. I just really appreciate that you've used your very precious time and energy to join this healing circle and to share it in whatever way you do with the world to strengthen these ideas as they go out into the world to do the healing work. And good job taking your place among the healers of the world. That is you have a mission here, and you won't rest till you fulfill it. You you're doing what you were born to do. Good job. Way to love yourselves. Way to love the world and heal the world. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next time I see you.